last time on Everest beyond the limit. The expedition's first climbers are on the summit. But the casualties are stacking up.
I know he can walk, but if he walks, he will use some toes.
And the cracks are beginning to show.
I haven't slept for the last 2 nights. Everest keeps on flashing up in my head every time I close my eyes.
Now the training's over.
You lose one glove, you lose one hand.
The summit assault has begun. But at 23,000 feet, altitude and attitude suddenly collide.
You gotta get your together, man.
Back in LA, he'd be on the ground.
On the summit of the world's highest mountain, David Tait and Phurba Tashi are attempting a world first, a double traverse of Everest. To set the record, British climber David and Sherpa Phurba have to climb the mountain twice, once from Tibet and once from Nepal.
Hey, Summit, congratulations for your 12th summit, and David, congratulations for your 2nd.
They reach the summit from the Tibetan north side of the mountain. Now, they're about to step over the top and descend the south side into Nepal. After a few days' rest, they'll head back the way they came. An incredible 2 summits in 10 days.
Phurba Tashi, copy?
Phurba knows the north side like the back of his hand, but he's never been on the south side. He's filming on Sherpa Cam and doesn't like what he sees.
Probably can't see anyone. Coming up on the south side.
Phurba had relied on safety ropes being in place to guide him down, but bad weather on the south side has pinned climbers down, and the ropes aren't there. He's having to ask directions. First, they must descend 200 vertical feet to the Hillary Step, the most dangerous and technical part of their climb. Then creep along a knife-edge ridge to the south summit and clamber down to the balcony on their way to High Camp 4. They're going to have to rope themselves together for the descent. If one falls, the other must try to save him. It's old-fashioned climbing. 2 men, a coil of rope, and a mountain.
Thank you.
8,000 feet below them at Advanced Base Camp, the rest of Russell's climbers are on edge.
Perfect.
Hearing all the bells going off this morning, everybody yelling and screaming, summit. I mean, it kind of makes you feel good inside that other people are summiting up there, but a huge side of me that just wants to be up there.
The first team of climbers leave for the summit in 24 hours.
I just can't wait. Just can't wait to get up there, and more importantly, get back down. Now, I've never been above 7,500 meters. In fact, all these guys have been above 8,000 meters. The only thing I can say is we're pretty, I think, in terms of health, 100%. Yeah, maybe 100%. I don't think we could be in a better position for a successful summit attempt.
It's like the day before we're leaving. It's almost like the calm before the storm.
On the summit, the time has come. David and Phurba are going over the top, into the unknown and out of radio contact.
Phurba Tashi, copy?
It's now hit or miss if anyone picks up their transmissions.
Phurba, copy?
They no longer have Russell on their side.
David, do you copy?
David and Phurba have been in the death zone since yesterday morning. They've been in radio contact with Russell every inch of the way. But now, they're in a radio shadow behind the mountain. On all Russell's expeditions, radio communication is a vital lifeline. And now, he can't contact the Traverse team. At Advanced Base Camp, Russell is working blind. He's forced to rely on Southside expedition leaders for news of his men.
Southside, Susie, copy.
But South Base Camp communications are notoriously bad.
Yeah, sorry, Susie, I can't hear you, but we'll call you again in maybe 1 hour's time.
His men are somewhere on Everest. He can't wait. Russell tries another expedition leader higher up the mountain.
What's the name of the ship again, please, Buffalo?
Phurba Tashi.
Okay, that's the same one. Phurba Tashi. This is south side of Everest. Do you copy, yeah? Phurba Tashi. Do you copy, yeah?
No one can reach them. If they're still alive, Phurba and David should be somewhere between the Hillary Step and the balcony, where this year's fixed ropes start. It's the deadliest stretch of the south route on Everest. It's taking too long.
Yeah, Kenton.
Okay, the guys in the vicinity of the balcony,
They're on the new route.
After 12 hours of non-stop climbing, David and Phurba have finally reached this year's safety ropes.
Tremendous amount of enthusiasm from other commercial operators on the south side to be passing on communications and helping us for this project, and makes me feel good.
David and Phurba are on the ropes, but still far from safety. They're entering the South Col, a barren expanse of rock surrounded by vertical drops. The South Col takes lives. David and Phurba are walking into a graveyard. In the worst climbing disaster on Everest, 8 people died here on one deadly day. This is no place to be caught out in the open. They've got to find shelter at the first camp and get out of the death zone. David, Tait and Phurba Tashi are on target to achieve a world-first double traverse of Everest. They've spotted High Camp 4. Finally, they find the first of this year's Southside climbers, trapped here by bad weather at 26,000 feet. On the other side of the mountain, Russell Bryce is impatient for news.
Just say again.
It's a monumental achievement for Phurba and David to make it over the mountain. But in the dead zone, there's no fanfare, just hot water.
Hey, how you doing? Good. You going Camp 3? You stay here.
We tried to go Camp 2.
Camp 2, okay.
4 is no place to linger. David and Phurba must get down to a safe altitude by nightfall. News of their safe arrival is relayed to the north side. David and Phurba are a step closer to a successful first traverse.
Zambo, I didn't copy that, but I understand Phurba's going to call when he's leaving South Col, over. Unser, done about.
Congratulations, good job. You left a little rope and a helo step.
Yes, yes. Right, boss.
Yeah, Phurba, I can hear you, but not very well. But I understand you're at South Col and that you'll call when you're leaving, over. Phurba, at Camp 3, I can talk to you. I was talking to Kenton there. So he said he'll have drinks waiting for you, and we can talk to you there, over.
Thank you. You too.
Now there's many more people, and they'll drop down now to Camp 3, which is not going to take them very long, and they'll come to Kenton. Everyone's chipping in and helping in different ways. It's much appreciated. I'm sure Dave's appreciating it.
Between them and their next checkpoint is the Lhotse face. A treacherous wall of ice-glazed rock. They must grind their way down it to the western Khum and the next camp. On the north side, the rest of the expedition are making final preparations for their own summit attempts. Team 1 leaves tomorrow.
You can do it. Yeah. Come on. You can do it. Whatever happens, wherever you go in the world, you'll always need a poo, won't you? Whoever you are. You're right. I think the first signs of madness are coming in, actually.
If anything goes wrong, Rod's video diary home could be his last will and testament.
Hi, Rod. It's Rod again. Video diary. This is a quick temporary farewell. Got 5 days ahead of us, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be really difficult, physically and mentally. But I just want to say to you guys, Sasha, John T, love you loads. Love you more than this mountain. In fact, I love all of you more than this mountain. And I'm just doing it because I'm here, it's there.
Not so much tomato on the mountain. Better take some mushroom.
Rod's climbing partner is Darius Vaichulas, a businessman from Lithuania.
I'm with Rod's teammate in the tent. So we are organizing the food for coming 6 days. Labas, Asta, labas, Nagli, labas, Benai. Tikiuosi viskas bus gerai ir už 5 dienų galėsiu pasveikinti jūs nuo viršūnės. Viskas vietoj, viskas patikrinta. Esu savim visiškai patenkintas ir tikras, kad nieko blogo neatsitiks. Taigi, laukiam, kai nusileisiu ir susisieksiu su Tim. Ate.
Tim can't focus on home. He's only got eyes for the mountain.
So now this year, going up, I'm definitely stronger, faster, and more mentally prepared. So don't worry. I'm not into this. I'm not doing this.
On the south side, David and Phurba are inching their way down the Lhotse face to the western Khum. They've reached Camp 3 and help from mountain guide Kenton Cool.
Hey Russell, your two guys, we just better believe them fluid. They're looking really good shape and I'm headed down to
Yeah, Roger, they don't want to stop anywhere. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, coming up Russell, have a good
Roger. just stopped, had water with Kenton and gone. So that means not exhausted, still strong and running hard. So that's good.
From being lost in the death zone with no ropes or radios, David and Phurba are now close to safety. Soon, they'll reach Camp 2 at 21,000 feet, the same height as Russell Bryce at Advanced Base Camp on the north side.
On schedule. This is pretty good. They'll probably another hour and a half, 2 hours to Camp 2. And then they can relax.
It looks like the Double Traverse team is on target for world record success. After 18 hours of climbing, the Double Traverse team has finally made it to safety. They're just above Camp 2.
This man just saved our life. Drinks and biscuits. Half an hour out of camp, just what we needed.
So which camp are you going down?
We're going down to Camp 2 on the south side. I didn't believe it was such a long route.
Since summiting at 6 o'clock this morning, Phurba and David have descended 1.5 vertical miles down the toughest part of the south side route.
It was a whole new experience when we crossed from the summit and we had no ropes. I can honestly say I felt some nerves there. Honestly say.
They've burned more than 15,000 calories, 4 times as much as a marathon runner.
I don't know about your legs, but my legs don't feel like they belong to me anymore. I didn't believe it was such a long route.
Need to say anything to Big Boss?
Oh, don't tempt me.
Tomorrow, they'll make their way down to base camp, where they'll rest for 3 days before turning around and doing it all again. Tonight, they'll sleep at Camp 2.
So all in all, we've walked 6, 12, 18, 19 hours.
19 hours. Oh,
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
It's Russell's first chance to speak to David and assess his physical and mental state. But David's about to drop a bombshell.
Hi David, how are you feeling?
Thank you, really great. But I think you've just managed to recognise the last day of my mountaineering career.
Without warning, David's decided to give up.
And there's no way in the world I can get back into every day.
The Double Traverse looks like it's over.
Yeah, okay, but let's talk about that when you get down to base camp, over.
Russell simply doesn't believe what he's heard.
Sounds though Dave's not that keen to be coming back. But then again, last night he wasn't that keen to be going over the other side. So we'll see what happens, and certainly I need Phurba back here, so I think he'll be keen to come back. So we'll see what happens.
May 16th. The first team of climbers leaves today, and Danish asthmatic Mogens Jensen on Team 2 is just an observer.
People are getting nervous, people are having doubts, and then they have to balance that with the belief, the motivation, just sheer willpower. So yeah, it's interesting. If you can look inside of people's heads, you get a lot of interesting scenarios going on for sure.
I haven't slept for the last 2 nights because Everest keeps on flashing up in my head every time I close my eyes.
I want to go as fast as possible right now, so everything is packed, almost. I do not want to stay here and think.
1 year waiting, man. This is it. And I've been a year for this day.
You know, it's nothing else. Yeah, it's not too bad.
On the south side, David's made his decision.
Duct tape.
He's not coming back.
Right, don't worry.
All that's left now is to organize his trip home.
Yeah, you keep breaking up too. There's just stuff at my tent at ABC, my tent.
BT, and also the Open case, that's it. That can just be shipped to the hotel.
So I'll be grateful.
How long do you think it'll take you to get down to base camp?
Another 2 hours, maybe.
We'll have better communication if you go to base camp, and then we can talk on a telephone over.
Will do, mate. Yeah, see you well.
Dave's not going to come back over the Traverse. Feels as though he's too tired, and so we just need to sort out how we're going to deal with the permits and bits and bobs. So I'll talk to him on the phone when he gets to base camp. It's always on the cards, so, you know. And until a person does this, you don't know, so that's up to him. So we'll talk later.
No reasons, no explanation, but the world's first double traverse is off. At Advanced Base Camp, 0 hour approaches. But before Team 1 leaves for the summit, Russell breaks the news about David.
David and Phurba decided not to come back on Traverse, so Phurba will come back by road and David will go home.
For me, I'm shocked because David's very organised. He's very directed in every single decision he makes. And I think it's because he probably had a very good chat with his wife and his family on the summit. And he suddenly thought, it's not worth the risk. No mountain's worth risking your life.
My first reaction was like, well, just give it a couple days, you know, wait 2-3 days, you know, then see how you feel and then come back. You know, stick to the plan. And the plan was always to go over and come back. And he didn't do that. So for me, it's kind of hard to swallow. You know, why wouldn't you wait?
The reason I decided not to go back up again with Phurba was I was continually being confronted with evidence that he was superior in pretty much every way. We'd done the traverse equally, but from that point on, if we had gone back for a second time, he would have had to defer to me at some point, simply because I paid for it. Everything aches.
When they woke up at Camp 2, Phurba was fully recovered, but David was still exhausted.
Oh, what a long way that was.
Yeah. Have some drink, breakfast.
Yeah.
Then you go down.
Yeah, let me go down, yeah. Thank God. We'd reached the summit. I could see the situation hypothetically in my mind. I'd tap him on the shoulder, or he'd stand back. I'd stand on the summit, and then I'd say, yeah, I was the first person. But it wouldn't be a legitimate first person. It's not really authentic. It would have been a fraud, frankly, because everybody knows that Phurba's the best Sherpa, one of the strongest men out there. Everybody would have known he would have had to have let me go first. I gave up on it. It's a misguided belief.
It's an elite group that summits Everest, but an even more exclusive club that makes it twice.
Nobody could take away from him that that was his second summit. You know, he summited Everest for the second time. You know, my hat's off to him.
Now it's time for Mountain Maverick Tim to confront his own demons.
I can deal with so much. I'm not paying him $42,000 to be my friend.
Do things as we will tell you, over.
The first climbers leave for the summit in less than an hour, and the entire expedition gathers for Russell's final briefing.
You lose one glove, you lose one hand.
I guess you want to call it a pep talk, but it's actually quite the opposite.
Above 8,000 meters, we have very limited time to survive. This is extremely dangerous. Treat it as dangerous.
People die up there, people lose fingers, people lose toes, and now's your chance to turn around.
It's crunch time for the climbers. Have the courage to go on, or the wisdom to go home. If they accept the challenge, Team 1 will lead the way up to North Col at 23,000 feet. They'll spend the night here before heading up through Camps 2, 3, and 4. It's a 5-day trek to the summit.
There's one Sherpa with each person. The Sherpa will stay with you. But it's not the Sherpa's job. If you want to go and die on the mountain, it's not the Sherpa's job to die with you. I'm sitting in North Col to be watching, calculating. calculating oxygen, calculating time. You paid me a lot of money to look after your life. Last year, a big argument with Tim. 1.5 hour arguing with arrogant man. And doesn't want to come back. Makes big problem.
You know, he thinks that I was arrogant and didn't turn around, and he's got every right to think that, you know. Yeah, I pushed my luck for an hour and a half.
Don't argue with me again, Tim. If I say no, it's no, you know? I don't care if you die.
I'm not paying Russell to be my buddy or be Mr. Nice Guy. I'm paying him to get me up that mountain and get me down.
I'm gonna say good luck, good mountaineering, be safe, be strong, and let's come home and celebrate. Now the time has come. The walrus said.
Son, told you.
Yeah.
See, number 3.
Yes, okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
try.
Okay.
Strengthen on up.
Years of training and a lifetime of dreaming are over.
Stay strong.
It's time to climb.
See you.
Team 1 is heading up to the North Col. After 8 weeks of living at altitude, it should be an easy 5 hours. But Tim's way behind schedule before he's even left. He's taking time to eat lunch and say final farewells to the kitchen staff. And Team 2.
Yes. Yes.
Konnichiwa.
The next time he'll see Moans is if they both make it back, alive.
Let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get it on.
Yeah.
Barely out of advanced base camp, Tim bumps into a climber he met earlier this year on another mountain.
Hey, you saw him this morning? No, I summited 3 days ago. And then pulled our camps the other day. And went up to the North Col with the sharpest to get the last camp today.
Yeah, man.
So,
He's come with the latest news from the summit.
the guy died right in front of us. It's like within 5 minutes, we were like coming down that summit snow slope. And
The Czech?
no, I think he was Japanese.
Oh, yeah, I heard. Yeah, we heard.
And I mean, what do you do? They were trying to get him down, and it's like, you know, 11 in the afternoon and 11 in the day, and we just like walked over, and it's like, we're like, dude, you got to abandon your friend, otherwise you're going to be 6 more like that.
So what happened with me and David Sharp last year? It's a tough call.
I felt like a dick just walking over, but you know, there's nothing you can do. There's no way you can get a body down from that height.
The rest of Team 1 is making good time. They're on their way to North Col, and miles ahead of Tim.
Not worried. I'll be there by dinner. I'm never late for dinner. Just like I'm off the mark.
But it's not long before he's in trouble.
Send back to your old tricks. Did you take them in? Be on time.
LA biker Tim Medveds is on his way to the North Col, but he's finding it much harder than he expected.
My heart rate is pumping so hard. You can feel it hitting your rib cage. It's hitting so hard. It's like hitting a red line on a motorcycle.
He's hit the wall.
The motors are screaming, and those pistons are just slapping up against cylinders. Bam, 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 hitting the heads. That's what it feels like in the heart. You gotta stop. Let it slow down a little bit. Then move a little bit more.
The rest of Tim's team arrived at Camp 1 well before him, and are preparing for the next leg of the summit push tomorrow morning.
That should be enough. Okay, just one red bag. But tomorrow we need 4 liters at least.
Maybe. I'm dreading that tomorrow. You can see our tent right at the top. You know, each step as a step towards the summit.
We need as much snow as possible.
Don't eat yellow snow. Remember that.
The beautiful views, yeah? See?
Tim's been struggling on the North Col ice cliff for nearly 5 hours. Now his route up is blocked.
Keep going.
A team of climbers are making their way slowly down.
Okay, keep going.
Getting across the ladder was that was a big hurdle.
One of the team is snowblind. They're lowering him down step by step.
Good. Left foot step. Right foot step.
You look around at your teammates, and you better hope you can count on them, because you might need them up top. You know, even the best climbers in the world can't climb this thing alone. Yeah, let's go.
But Tim's team is way ahead of him, and now his absence is noticed.
Dino, Tim arrived yet? Tim, you got a radio?
Sometimes you just need to drift away and having your music in one ear, leave the other ear open so you can hear the radio.
It's taken more than 5 hours, and I already told Tim before he left, please get his act together. I'm not impressed with that, and you know, Tim's been walking around being the big superhero because he was here last year and is very relaxed.
All-time number one, I have to say Eminem. Eminem, Lose Yourself. That's a good one. Kind of sings about his his one opportunity, his one break to make it all happen. Seizing the opportunity.
He's not performing, and I'm not happy with that.
This is my shot, man.
He can come home. I don't mind.
Let's get it on. Bam. It's okay?
That was close. Very cozy in here now. It's getting dark now. I can see the darkness coming in.
So Tim's not here yet.
It's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Tim should have been there by now, you know. He's getting there at this time of night and when the sun's gone, and when he should have left earlier. I told him that. No sympathy at all. I don't care. Don't care for him at all. You know, he just makes it harder for himself all the time. Stupid. Stupid man. Yeah.
Tim's in all kinds of trouble. It's taken him more than the allotted time to reach the North Col.
The second half just wiped me out. It's the hardest North Col push since I've been here. I don't know, I think I just need some food. Something. I just feel nauseous all day.
Too slow. Too interested in food. These stew dumplings?
I never lose my appetite. It's a good thing. You know, to get a
Lucky man.
to get a 250-pound body up that high, I need fuel.
Remember, your digestive system slows down, so all that stuff actually just sits in your gut. It takes that much longer to work its way through.
True.
Tim, do you copy?
The disappearing Tim. Oh, he's not taking much notice, is he?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
He wants to chastise you.
Man, you gotta get off my back, man.
Well,
You know?
he's about to get on it, I think. Want to do it now, get it over and done with?
Yeah, give me the radio. Tim to Russ, ABC. Tim to Russ.
The first climbing team are on their way to the top of the world. Now, at 23,000 feet, with 4 days of brutal climbing ahead of them, they're beginning to understand what conquering Everest is all about.
It's harder now. Every day is harder and higher, and tougher and rougher.
Tim to Russ, ABC. Tim to Russ.
In the mess tent, the pressure is mounting. Tim Medvitz can't avoid Russell Bryce any longer.
Yeah, Woody and Dino wanted me to call you.
Is that Tim?
Yeah, go ahead, 10-4, it's me.
Yeah, I'm not so impressed with your performance today.
Yeah, neither am I. I still make a 5-hour mark.
I don't think so. I'm pretty pissed off, actually.
I had a little rough day today, but that's all right. I'll be on the mark.
Well, you better talk to Dean and Woody about that. You gotta get your shit together, man.
Yeah, 10-4, Russ.
You can make the decision whether you go up tomorrow or whether you come down. We're open to bribes.
You're kidding, right? You're turning me around? Or you're leaving this decision to Woody and Dean?
And stop bloody around, you know? And if you don't want to do it, then you got to get out of the game. You left late, and then you got caught in the traffic.
Yeah, over. Okay, 10-4.
It's off with it, man. And I don't mind to bring you down if you're not going to perform, over.
I think Woody mentioned to you before. 9 o'clock tomorrow. Okay.
Problem.
From now on, the group moves together. The further the group gets split out, you know, by leaving late, it makes it harder for us if something goes on, whatever.
Yeah, Russ, Woody here. We'll chastise him and we'll make sure that he performs better tomorrow. Otherwise, we will be turning him around, over.
I'm not going to get into it over the radio, man, but you got to get off my case. All day today. Call me an arrogant. I don't care if you die. It's getting a little overboard. You know, I mean, come on. I mean, I left an hour after lunch. I had 2 pizzas, letting him digest. I left. I made his 5-hour mark. I don't feel good. I'm dry heaving. I'm gasping for air. I'm off the mark today. You know, whatever. It's normal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but you know, he has to fit in with everyone else's.
Yeah, copy that, Russ. We're going to have some dinner, and I think Tim will mull over that one. Over.
In the morning. Ciao.
Okay, North Cole, over and out.
What's this kid's problem, man? He's riding me just too much. You know? I like the idea of having him in my corner and having him push me hard. Because I do have a problem getting going in the morning. That is my problem, and I admit to it. But come on, today, he's getting a little out of hand, man.
You know, he's riding you hard, but then, you know, just perform. That's all I can say, mate. Just pull it out of the bag. Do it.
Anybody talk to me the way he talks to me like he did this morning? Back in L.A., he'd be on the ground, period.
Isn't it good? You paid money for this.
And I paid for this.
It's not easy climbing Everest, mate.
Next time on Everest, the climbers enter the death zone.
We may not survive the night.
Big Tim Medvitz defies the odds.
Going up!
But Moans is staring at a 4th failure.
My asthma just went anyway.
The brutal reality of climbing Everest hits them hard.
Oh no, I've just seen a body.
it just kind of puts a bad omen over the camp.
And the doubts creep in.
If he can die, we can die.